Let me tell you the quick story of Jonah before we leave. First thing that did, it created a distance between him and God. And then if you continue to have a word problem, you're going to end up in trouble. Here's what I mean. Jonah was the man that God chose to deliver the message to some people in a very unusual place. And when Jonah got there, he said, well, Lord, you know, this place is not, this is not like, it's not big time. This is not, can't preach over here. Who do they have name-worthy in their church? No, Lord, see, Nineveh, that's where all the hoochies go. And if I go to Nineveh, people are going to think bad of me. And God said, well, that's why I want you to go, because I want those people to hear about me. I want them to hear about me. I don't care if they hear about you, Jonah. You are strong enough to go and carry my word. Now this is personal. There are some of you that God is setting up to go in places and you're taking advantage of it and you're going, but the only thing you're not doing is you're not carrying God with you. You think you're going because you're popular, and God has sent you to go because you look like someone who was going to carry his name and bear fruit. You went to add to your social status. You went to add to your popularity. You went to find you a man. You went to find you a woman. God said, I wanted you to go to send you a message. I put you in that environment because I wanted you to carry my word. Is everybody understanding? And when Jonah got out there on that boat, he was going, now he's going the opposite direction that God said, go in. I'm going to go out there, Jonah said, and I'm going to get on the other boat. I'm going to go out there on the boat where they're partying. And not only am I going where they're partying, when nobody's around from the church, I'm going to throw down too. I've been waiting a stinky leg, but I couldn't stinky leg around church people. But out on this cruise, Jonah was on a cruise. He dropping it, you know, and he was all right till somebody, one of the DJs was out there on the thing, and they were listening, and they said, break it down, Brother Jonah. So Jonah's out there, and a storm breaks out. Why? Because Jonah is running from the word. And so now a storm breaks out, and he had gone down in the bed of the boat and had fallen asleep. And the one who had been most disobedient is now sleeping on the boat. And the storm breaks out, and this is a crazy storm. And the captains came and said, wake up, sir, wake up. There's a storm that's going on, and this storm is greater than the storm that we've ever noticed before. And what are you doing sleeping now? Get up, call on your God, call on your God. We have told everyone here to call on their gods. Whoever you are, because this is not just a normal storm. This is one of them tripping storms. Everything around the boat is still, but where we are, there's a storm. Can I get a witness here? Sometimes there's a storm that'll come that's just designated just for you. Everybody else is calm, and you'll go, do you feel that? Do you sense that? Are you going like, no, we're cool. This is your own personal storm. Some of you in here right now, you're mad at everyone in your family because no one can understand what you're going through. Guess what? Write this down. This is your message. You asked for it. This is your own personal storm. Everybody else is healthy. Everybody else is wealthy, and everybody else is having a great time. Right now, everything in your world is being rocked because this is your own personal storm. Get up and call on your God. When they finally cast lots to find out who it was, the lots fell on Jonah, and Jonah said, okay, I can't play anymore. It's me. I ran from God's word. I'm trying to get away from the presence of the Lord. All you guys have to do is throw me overboard. If you throw me overboard, the storm will stop. If you just get rid of me, everything will be peaceful again. If you just let me off the team, y'all can finally have a fellowship. If you just get me off the team, you can finally go to a championship. If you get me off the team, you can finally have some peace in your life. Jonah told the sailors to throw him overboard since he was responsible for the storm, but the sailors avoided doing that. They didn't want to throw Jonah overboard, but they held on to him, and the more they held on to him, the greater the storm became. Let me tell you something. I want you to write this down because they had an option to throw Jonah overboard, but they said, no, in our hearts, we can't just throw anybody overboard. We've got to fight to try to keep everybody that we know alive. And let me tell you something. There are some things in your life that have to be thrown overboard before you can have peace. I know you're devoted. I know you're vulnerable. I know you're a good friend. I know you're a top dog. But there are some things in your life that have to be thrown overboard before you have peace. Are y'all still with me, church? When Jonah ran from God's word, he found himself in a storm. Now let me tell you that storms come sometimes and they create distance between you and God. We've already discovered that. Now when you add all those things up together and we start to understand where we are, and they didn't want to throw Jonah overboard. They just didn't want to do it. But remember, he was a man of God. And sometimes storms come because, I don't even know how to say this to you, but I guess I better go and say it. Storms come because we're too close to God. You see, sometimes when you're real close to God, Satan will brew up a storm to separate you. We can almost go home now, y'all. See, you've been coming to church so much, I've got to send a storm to keep you out of church. You've been coming so much that I got to do something to get you out. And so some storms come because you are so close to God. All right, come on. I'm God. Stay close to me. Things are cool. Everywhere I go, he's there. This is my boy. Come here for a minute. I tell you what, I'm going to want you to give me an offering. If you, go ahead, come here. Either one of y'all, come here. And if you give me an offering, I'm going to bless you. Okay, grab his arm. Give me your offering. Don't let him get it offering. Give me your offering. Give me your offering. Give me your, you see, the minute he's committed, now someone's in his life to keep him from doing what got him this far. So the reason storms are in some of your life is because you were so close to God that Satan says, I got to put some, hold on, I got to put some separation between you and God. See, that's what Adam was. And so in order to get to Adam, Satan had to get Eve involved. Because God gave Adam his what? His word. And so now he's been created. There's a separation here. And now Jonah has a what problem? Adam has a what problem? A word problem. There's something between he. Are y'all getting this? You were doing good. You were making the church almost every week, every month, at least every 4 or 5 days. You were coming to everything. And you got prosperous. And all of a sudden, when you got prosperous, somebody noticed how good you were looking. And it was just you and I. God said, we're walking hand in hand. Man, I can depend on you if I need an usher in a minute. If I need somebody to sing a song, there you are. And then all of a sudden, you started looking good. And something tapped you on your shoulder. And all of a sudden, you turned your head. And you told me to hold on. I'm still God. But now you have turned, and she walked that way because she had tickets to go to something else. You had go ahead that way, just anywhere. And so you followed her, and so I'm God, and you have turned your back on me, and now you're getting cold. You don't praise anymore. You're not like you used to be because something has created a distance between you and I. But because I'm God, I'm not going to chase you. I'll just watch you. Because I know she won't last. Y'all don't get this yet, do you? Come on back. They threw him overboard. Who's going to knock on your door this evening to make sure you don't come to church Thanksgiving, or to make sure you don't have to come to church tomorrow night because you are so busy now, you're so successful now, everything is going your way. Finally, it's not all going your way. You still don't have everything you want, but you have most things that you've ever dreamed of. You're in a better place in life than you've ever been. Sometimes storms come because you're close to God. Jonah was thrown overboard because of his distance. God. He got away from God, y'all. He's on the Love Boat. That joker on a Carnival cruise. God sent him on a boat to go witness to some people who were messed up. He said, no, I want to go where I can be popular. and he's gotten distant from God. But let me tell you this. God has never allowed any of his children, though, to be thrown overboard by a storm that the devil stirred up. So when you have a storm in your life that Satan has stirred up, God is not going to allow you to be thrown overboard by a storm that Satan created. Because whatever Satan throws at you, God says, hold on, baby, I got you. Don't you worry about how tight this is. I'm going to stay with you, because I know the only reason that Satan is bothering you now is because you're closer to me now than you've ever been before. Give somebody a high five right now. I need you to just touch somebody for me. Come on, just touch them for me right now. The only reason the storm is happening in your life, you, the person that's listening to me right now, you asked God to speak to you, so here's his word to you. The only reason you're having a tough time now is because you have dedicated yourself. I'm going to church. I'm getting back in the word. But God wanted me to tell you this morning that even if people that loved you dearly get rid of you, you will not be defeated, because the storm you're going through now is just happening in your life because you decide to get close to me.